Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
Okay, guys, make sure you guys can hear me okay. Here we go. Sorry I'm late. Just got off work not long ago. Ended up staying pretty much a half an hour past my time. Power went out this morning, and yay, I got to work from home today. Yay. But then I had a call just before 8 o'clock. And so anyways, so thank you guys for being here. Please hit the like and the share, of course, to keep this in the algorithm for Jack and Lily. And you guys can see my big fan in back. I guess I didn't. Hold on a second here. That's because everything, if anything could have went wrong yesterday, it's no, that's not what I want. Hold on. I lied. Hold on. Where's my, no, yeah, just give me a second here. Gotta load up for Mike. Everything could have went wrong yesterday. It did. Went to go use Canva last night to do a live. They were down. Went to go use my Wondershare, and I was getting an error. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then, so I forgot that I rebooted my computer and everything. So let me just get up my Streamlabs here for a second. I'm amazed I didn't even have it on and it showed up. Okay, hold on. I just got to go to my video capture for a sec. Okay, configure. All right. Okay, let's see here. 1 second. Wham-a-llama ding dong. So just while you're waiting, again, if you haven't hit that like and share, please do. Oh, let's see. Camera control. Ugh. Bring in closer. Tilt. Bring myself up a little higher. There we go. Good enough. Apply. You should have that shit already done. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. This is going to be, I think, a bit of a more special live, to be honest with you. It's got a mixture of a bunch of stuff for you guys. And so, yeah. So I think this one, I think you guys are going to like this one. But anyway, well, not that you didn't like any others, but this one is going to have some, different things for sure. But Lynn's in the house. She was just cleaning, listening to Michael Jackson. And I was like, I hope you don't. Oh, but wasn't the song Beat It? Not Triple X Beat It. I just meant like beat it out of here. That's what I meant. Anyways, that was me. And hi, Shannon. Welcome. I'm just going to do the quick hellos. Hi, Anna. How are you? Thank you guys for being here. Inhale, exhale. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you. Hi, Sing Birdie. How are you? Shannon, hope you're feeling better. Truth and justice for Jack and Lily. Prayers and love to Belinda. Yeah, prayers and loves there. I saw. Well, I was going to do a live yesterday because I'm not going to show you guys the other side because that has my address on it and you ain't getting that. But this person did. And this has some pens and I think some stickers in it for the first batch, and then she sent one for Charmaine, and I think with the new pens for me and Charmaine as well. And so when I go on my road trip or on my vacation, 1 second. Thank you for Helicopter Grandma. She gifted a membership to somebody. Let's just take a quick boo. YouTube studio always has to catch up. Who got that? Oh, went by so fast. Sing Birdie. Make sure you give a good thank you or a big thank you to Helicopter Grandma. Helicopter Grandma. That one always makes me laugh because, think of the helicopter. Hi, Snarky Pants. Hello, JJ. So anyways, I'm going to open up this in a minute. I was going to open it up last night, but like I said, everything was going wrong. And then my husband's like, do you want to go over to Shoppers Drug Mart? And I'm like, well, and then we went over to the other place that's right beside it. But anyways, so I was like, yeah, sure. Cause nothing's going right. So not doing a live today. So I told Cheryl that I was going to, we'll do it on my next live. So my next live is today. All right. Anyways, hi Kay, how are you? The old and the mysterious. I'm old and I'm mysterious. Maybe I should have that name. People actually say that. I don't think I'm mysterious. People always say that about me. I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve. I guess they find me unique and fun and mysterious. I don't know. Hi, Dawn. How are you? Hey, I'm on time. Yay. Hi, Alana. How are you? Hello, beautiful people. Beautiful people. Whenever I see that, hello, beautiful people. Who sings that song, rah, rah, rah. Do. Streamlabs is in the house, of course. So don't forget, use your punctuation, or else it says you're dropping a link. Hello, Sunny. It's Tom Lou. I'm on my hubby's phone. Hi, everyone. Mods, big hug to all. Tom and Tom Lou. Oh, is that what it is? So Tom, that's why your name is Tom Lou. So your husband's name and your name. I'm not sure if it's Louise or whichever it is. I heard that, Shannon. I'll come back in a second. Hi, Ariel. Mustang girls in the house. We had a terrible storm with a huge hail. So both my vehicles, new windshields. Oh, yeah. Trust me. The worst hailstorm was that I recall, was back in like 1980 something. Baseball. You guys, some areas got baseball hailstorms in the area. So many cars damaged from that. Alberta used to get really, really bad hailstorms. But then, the climate change and everything, it's not quite the same. There you are, my beautiful friend. Think of you every day. Hope you are doing well. Yeah. Yep. Big hugs and prayers for Shannon. Obviously there's a lot of people because we're getting older. Most of us that are in here, we're of age, most of us, right? We're not young, dumb, and we'll look, come. Or, for like it's like, I'll say more so the 40s to like 65s and stuff like that with, some others in there. So we all know what's going on, medical issues and different things. I have diabetes and I, get my little, well, I'm not going to get into everything. I'm already too busy talking about farts on my last end of my life. Probably not going to be talking about those today, maybe another day, perhaps, or the other issues. But anyways, as for Shannon, if you guys can all give her prayers and hugs, of course, as she's dealing with, we'll say the C word. Okay. All right, then. And that we hope that she has a healthy recovery from everything. So biggest hugs. Truth and Beauty evening. Helicopter Grandma. That's one that gifted the certificate there. And again, this live, I'm liking this live tonight, you guys. So please hit that like and the share. Keep Jack and Lily's story out in the algorithm. And I think that you guys will just enjoy the different stuff a little bit. If it doesn't meet your expectations, so sad, too bad. Met mine. I just wish these beautiful babies could be found. Absolutely. Okay, I'm just going to kind of old garden gal. Almost 1:30 a.m. here on the far East Coast. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just this is my final week of my 12 to 8s and I work late, so I can't do them any sooner. Not when I'm on those shifts, but this is my last week here. Love you, Sunny. I know, but I am a helicopter over my. Well, there you go. I mean, that works too. Shannon, you guys know I desert you in a second, especially for dessert. Shannon, thank you for the super sticker. Love you. And thank you, mods, for being here and all that you guys do. Right, Sharon Parker? Right, Sharon Parker. Where's Ben Ben? Ben should be here. I'm probably pretty sure I'm doing his time right now. Hi, Susanna. Hi, Sunny. Been busy having to catch up with all the lives. Yeah, I can never catch up, to be honest. I think you're right, Sing Birdie. Okay, and that was how. So Sing Birdie got a gift membership to from Helicopter Grandma. Okay, let me scroll down. JJ57. Thank you for becoming a new member. Okay, so I think I got a. Okay, I think we're there. I think we're there. You should be at work. Psst. Ben, work over me. Come on now, let's get real. Hi, Yvette. How are you? Okay, so the first thing I do want to do is, whoops, you guys can't see my address. So I gotta show this side. Is Cheryl W. And in here it would be Share Cares. So she's probably sleeping perhaps right now. But anyways, so she can watch. She's gonna watch it on the replay. But anyways, so she had sent me, like I said, these. So I wanted to open it up with you guys, okay? Because they're Jack and Lily pens and stickers. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. And I'm amazed that I did that because normally when I get a parcel, I'm like ripping it open right away. I don't really have the willpower, to be honest with you. I used to do that crap at Christmas time. I'd unstick my mom's presents and then I'd know what I got, and then I would feel bad after because then I knew what I got, So I don't really do well typically with parcels. But oh my god, the tongue lick on this envelope must have been real. Oh, by the way, it has a little sticker of Jack and Lily on the seal. That's nice. So that makes so much noise. Gotta open it up. Actually, just before the live, I was like, husband, where's my envelope? Right? Of course, he thinks I'm panicking. Well, I am, because I was like, it was right here beside me. And then he's like, it is. It's just up on your little white thing there. And I was like, oh, I just said I couldn't see it because it was like flat and fake. Okay, come on. Let's open this sucker up. Let's go. Oh, let's see what treats we got in here for Jack and Lily. Thank you, Cheryl. You know what? I just want to say this to you guys, from my heart to your heart. Thank you guys for everything you do. Whether it's hitting that like button, being here for Jack and Lily, maybe you became a member, maybe you made a donation to the channel in support of the channel. But at the end of the day, I just truly want to say that, there's a lot of great people in the Jack and Lily true crime community that follow this case. And I've met a lot of beautiful hearts along the way. And for people to do things like this by sending, caring enough about you, caring enough to actually use their own money and make these beautiful, treats. This is hard to see on this one, guys. It's like a yellow and blue ribbon. Oh, hold on. Wait, where's my glasses? I'm pretty sure this isn't a Jack and Lily pen. Hold on. What does this say? It says, bitch, you doing a good job. That's what that one says. It was hard to read. But so I just want to go back to saying that, again, there's a lot of, people in this world that like to pay it forward, or it's just because they have such beautiful hearts. Not to say people that don't send things don't have beautiful hearts. But, when somebody dips into their own pockets and then they get these beautiful, pens and stuff like that. It now on here, this one says, Justice for Jack and Lily Sullivan. Someone knows. Okay. That's what it says right there. What a beautiful pen. Oh, I love it. Click, 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 click. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Helicopter Grandma. I appreciate it. Anyone that does know me or know this channel, like I said, unless you don't got no brain cells, you guys all know I do like to keep it real, and I just like to be genuine and an honest person. I don't like to try to be shady in anything I do. I don't try to clickbait. I don't try to lure people in and stuff like that. I don't force you to donate. Donate now, people. Let's go. Come on. No, just kidding. And this is like Belinda had on hers. Isn't that beautiful? Cheryl, you got my number when it comes to can we purchase the peas? Well, not the peas. You mean the pens? You're bossy. Stop it. Stop it, Shannon. You know you are. Love you, girl. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Cheryl just ordered these to give them out to specific. She said she was giving some, like she sent some to Belinda, obviously. She sent some to me and Charmaine. I'm not sure who else, but I know she was giving some to that police department as well. So I don't know. Okay. Okay. So obviously blue for Jack, pink for Lily, and then we got the mixture, the blue and the pink. So amazing. So amazing. Oh, Shannon, no, you don't. Don't tell me you love me. Sounds like it's bossing me around. Now, this blue one says, be the light. Be the light. Yeah, that's so sweet. What else? Okay, and then there's the stickers.
Minus 57 super chat. 2 Canadian dollars and 79 cents. Thank you. Where from William Jack. Playing gesture emoji. Playing gesture emoji.
I love how that came out. JJ, thank you for the super chat and then or super sticker prayer and for Lily and Jack. But it said JJ minus 57. I had to look up there for a second and be like, what? Right then I saw that the sign there on the between the JJ and the 57. Anyways, so Cheryl, love you. Shannon, maybe a little bit. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so this is a big sticker. Love it, love it, love it. I might just put that on my mirror dress. I don't know. I have to think about that. And then these are the smaller stickers of Lily and Jack. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it? Seriously, you guys know that I've been in customer service. Most of you, if you don't know, I've been in customer service for pretty much what 39, 40 years. Okay. Let's see here. Wait, let me calculate. So I was like 18, 57. Yeah, yeah, like 40 years. Okay. Um, Again, I've gone through many of different things like everybody else in the life. Mine happens to be more of the abuse situations, right? And but in saying that, you know, I don't get pushed around by people. I used to let people walk all over me. But as you go through your life and you, come upon different things, I never blamed anyone for anything that I ever was part of. Like when I say part of, meaning if I stayed in an abusive relationship, blah, then, that was on me. And it was on, but it sure did make me a lot harder, meaning I was tired of people bullshitting me. So I cannot stand people that sit there. Like we all lie a little bit. I get it. I do, you do, we all do. But then there's literally manipulation. There's deflecting, trying to blame other people on stuff, or people that are just trying to pull you down. But over the years, I became such a strong person from that I recall exactly where I was, that I remember saying to someone, like I was giving advice to somebody else, and I was like, you know, all I can tell you is you should only associate yourself with people that care about you and actually, want to support you. Other than that, pluck those other people out of your life. You don't need them, whatever. I learned that lesson. Okay. So that's why I will block, because I don't care about the view. I don't care about the sub. If you're a jerk off and want to lead your life like that, right? It's not going to be in my town. That's for sure. Not on this channel. So I don't care about things like that. What I care about is if you communicate like you're an adult in here. Everyone can have their opinion, but it has to be said at least in a reasonably nice fashion without it being a jerk off. I don't need it. And that's why, some people might think that I'm like strong. Well, I am strong because nobody can take that away from me. And I would expect the same for everyone else that leads their own lives, is that if you know that you're kind, caring, giving, loving, and all those different things, nobody can take that away from you. And these jerk offs can lead their life all they want, miserably unhappy, like somebody pissed in their cereal every freaking day or cornflakes. Don't care. So it does mean a lot when people have this type of kindness behind them that use their own money because they cared about this case and they wanted to do something really sweet and kind, right? Not everyone can afford to do this, and not saying that, because everyone has their way, right? Not everyone can donate. Not everyone has to donate, but not everyone. But one thing you can do is hit that like button for Jack and Lily, because that is free. Smiles are free, right? Aren't they? So, anyways, so beautiful, Cheryl. Love you so much for these great pens, and I know you're sending more to come. And I remember you saying that you really like your other batch there. So I'm not sure if it's because I've seen Belinda's pens. But anyways, all I'm saying is thank you so much. And when I see Charmaine on my road trip back, I will be making sure to give her the envelope that will be coming. And that will be great to see Charmaine as well. Okay? No, nobody can take away your hearts, helicopter grandma, right? Nobody can take away how. So any channel that wants to try, it doesn't faze me. In fact, it's very laughable. Sometimes I poke the bear back, but that's because I really don't care. I mean, like I said, if demand, or what is it, the legend demand, the douche wants to, put my name in his lips all the time and stuff like that. Don't care, really. It's actually quite comical. Well, I would say it's more embarrassing, but whatever. It's his channel, But moving on. These are gorgeous. Little pin. So again, if you guys didn't hear me say this one, it says, what does it say again? Bitch, you doing a good job. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much again for being here. So the next thing I think we'll talk about, actually the next thing I think, what do I want to do? Too many options over here. Okay. I'll show you this. This is a picture of Malaya. Probably most people have not seen. And it was compliments of, what's his name? Oh, right. Hayden on his Instagram. That was there. Okay. And so this is in New Brunswick. This picture was taken in. Now, this was in 2019. Okay. So this is when sweet little, I was going to say Mackenzie, my own niece's name. This is when sweet little Lily, was basically born, was in that time frame. Obviously, we know that she's 7 years old now on there. So I wanted to show you that. How I just got on like 23 minutes ago. Okay, Dodie. Susanna says Jack and Lily have won many hearts. We're not going anywhere, here to see justice for them. And that's it. I see the same names, most of them, over and over again. You guys, like myself, are dedicated to following this case because it's a space. It's like a home to come to the different channels, right? Some of them make you feel welcoming, and other ones make you feel like you can't say nothing without getting a block and stuff like that. And like I said, I have no problem with people having a different opinion than mine. I truly don't. Opinions make you think, okay, well, is this plausible? Okay, but it's okay. But there are channels out there that you can't say shit. And this channel, you can say a channel's name, even if I don't like the channel. That's, the mods. I don't force them. I've never had a mod meeting ever. If somebody has a mod wrench, right? And then somebody, thanks maybe someone for a donation, or they drop a link like Ben all the time, and stuff like that. There's no pressure. But it's just that if I'm busy talking, my one thing that I would like is if they see someone that's being like just a jerk off in a sense, and you can tell, block their butt. Send them hiking, time them out. You know, that's. But I've never put in expectations on mods, and stuff, right? That they do. I'm grateful that they take time to say thank you to somebody, or have conversations and stuff. So I just wanted to say that. Oh, Hot Wheels. Yeah, glad I didn't. Alicia, Hot Wheels. My son, not like you care, but my son, who's like 29 now, he lives in Alberta with his dad. He has over 15,000 Hot Wheels. Why? Well, because back in the day, me and my ex-husband, we ran a sunglass booth, designer knockoffs, one for 13 or two for 20. Tons of money you make off of those things. Anyway, so my son got a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he got a lot of Hot Wheels because my real dad, when we were children, we owned two toy stores in Gastown and Blood Alley in Vancouver. But then my mom left him because he was basically spent all the money, but we got lots of toys. I'll tell you that much. So my dad, though, he could tell you anything about Barbie, Hot Wheels, and like the toys, right? And so anyway, so at that point in time, my real dad was in my life for a bit until he passed, but whatever. Not a great dad, but I took him for what he was. Either way, so he taught us a lot about Hot Wheels and final runs and the different things and stuff. So to this day, my son literally has over 15,000 Hot Wheels down in Alberta. My son loves Hot Wheels. That was my nickname. My son had a Hot Wheels bed. Did you buy your son this Hot Wheels bed? My son got one for sure. Absolutely. I used to be in a wheelchair for over 12 years. Oh, and now you're not? I mean, because he said used to be, so. Well, that's nice. Aw. Yeah, you just bring back memories when you see these words. Okay, so let me think. Let me just play. Sorry, I had to cough. And I was like, okay, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me just quickly play just for the fun of it. All right. Instagram. Let's take that down. So I told you this live is a little bit different. Just gonna show you some, different things on this live. And well, sorry, Cindy Murray, but I know it's an older clip, but I'm gonna show it when Hayden's taunting you. This is just more like a fun clip, guys. Okay, and 1 second. Sure. So, anyways, prayers for Jack and Lily, and this is always what it's about. Even if we're talking about some other things that's like this, what I'm showing isn't relevant, obviously, to the case. But someone shared me the Instagram. I never even thought to go. Like sometimes I'll go to Instagram, but most times I avoid Instagram. Or somebody shared it with me today, so thank you for that. And then I was looking around too, but so that's where this came from. Because I was sitting there poking, and this other person had shared, basically his profile on Instagram. So let's see here. Share screen. Instagram. Okay, so this is like 353 weeks ago, September 2019, right? So Hayden Murray Smith. And you guys, if you want, you guys can go check that out there. But anyways, let me just make the screen bigger for a minute. This one actually makes me laugh. So I figured I'm just going to show it. And Instagram. Let me make sure the volume's up for you guys. All right, let's see.
Go.
I'm gonna put you on that farm looking out for the cattle.
Go. I got my phone out now. Go.
Put your phone away.
Go. Well, no, you think you're making me get this all out for nothing? You were just getting mad at me, so I got my phone out, and now you're not, because I got it all over the world. Why aren't you gonna get mad at me? Hey, there's Sis and CJ. There's Sis and CJ. There's the brown caddy I driven. Going by, there's Sis and CJ. I was supposed to be working with him. Damn, okay.
I said to Mom, I said I should clear out. Geez, I should come over more often. Everybody's scats when I arrive.
No, they just don't want to deal with it. I hate to brag, I tell you. Anyways, I gotta go. This is about to run out. My mom is scared of the internet.
Okay, I just thought that was a funny, cute little clip. And I'm not gonna lie. So I know that is East Coast, okay, obviously. But when I heard him talking, it really reminded me of like the people that I hear in Newfoundland talking. You don't really sometimes remember because, like, to me, I don't have an accent, but just maybe someone in Australia, I do. But obviously, like East Coast has the accent. So an East Coaster might go, oh yeah, like that's like a Nova Scotian accent or the East Coast type of thing. But I don't know the difference. But all I know is that I was like, oh, he has a little accent there, doesn't he? I guess apparently something like he turned 19 recently. So again, this was like in 2019. We're now in 2026 when he's taunting his mom there. Well, I mean, his words on the Facebook screen literally say, when your mom gets mad, whip out Instagram. Obviously, Cindy doesn't like to be recorded. Do you have an accent? I love the Canadian accents. Yeah, it's so weird, One time when I was in Home Depot, I said to the guy, oh, that's a nice Australian accent. And he goes, he was pissed. Like he was a jerk. And he's like, it's a New Zealand accent. And he basically was like, know your accents before you say something. Fuck off, dude. Having a bad day working, you old asshole. Like seriously. Lots of times people say to like little kids, or people say to my husband, oh, is that an Aussie accent? So personally, I know the difference, but to little kids and other people, they don't, like I know that England has so many different accents, the posh ones, the Birmingham ones, whatever, black, whatever it's called, or black county or country county or something, whatever it's called. Anyways, but I mean, if you're going to take offense to that, you know what? Go back in your mom's vagina and come back out a decent person, seriously. And he was an old fart, but I just thought, jerk, it's not like you're on the street. You're literally working here at Home Depot and you're that much of a jerk off, you cranky old fuck. That's all I was thinking. You sound very Canadian. Well, I do say a lot without realizing it. So I think so. And I do like maple syrup. And I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Kind of like the snow, as long as it's not around me or if I'm in a house. That's why BC, beautiful British Columbia, at least we haven't seen snow really down here in 2 years, pretty much. Yeah. I lived in here. Let me put this back up on the screen. I lived in Oregon my whole life, but my family is all from the Midwest. I'm a hella country. Do people always ask where I'm from? Do people always ask where I'm from? Yep. It's kind of like, I always remember when my ex-husband was down in Atlanta for some sort of speed car race, whatever it was, that speed car race that they have there. And I always remember when I was calling the hotel that he was at, this black lady would answer the phone and she'd be like, it was just, I can usually do an accent when I hear it at the same time. I can do it better. I'm not really good otherwise, but I just remember her going, like, thank you for calling, and it just reminded me of hot chocolate whenever she answered the phone. It was just such a warm, lovable, but it was, I can't remember what she said anymore, but it was like, say, thank you for calling the Luxury Love Inn. This is whatever speaking. How can I help you today? And it was just such a nice, it just was, I just felt warm every time she answered it. And I let her know that. Uh, I'm a Kiwi in Aussie. When I moved over here, everyone thought I was from the UK. Yeah, right. It's just because honestly, when you live on that side of the pond, you guys kind of know all your accents. To us in the US and Canada, we're not, we're more ignorant to those accents. We can't differentiate between all the different accents in England or in Aussie and stuff. Like I can, because I love the Aussie accent. But most people, like, I mean, get a life, right? Just get a life. There's bigger things in this world, like missing children, to talk about than someone pissing on a pot because you got their accent wrong. Instead of just correcting and say, "Oh yeah, no." Like if people spell my name wrong, right? I'll be, or they, like at work. Okay, you know how many times I get called Penny or Honey? Oh hi, Honey. Oh hi, Penny. 50% of the time I got called pennies. Why? It's because they're not really listening. And all they hear is the an NY at the end of it, right? And typically, sometimes I'll leave it. And then other times during the phone call or whatever, I'll correct them and I'll be like, well, this is Sunny, by the way. First of all, I'm sorry if there's a Penny out there listening right now. I fucking hate that name. I hate the name Penny. I hate it. Okay? Call me Honey. I think of Winnie the Pooh. Call me Sunny, and I'm happy and full of light, But anyways, I hate to hear my own voice. Yeah. I sound like cornbread. You know what? You know who should truly hate their own voice? Hi, Anita. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. Pretty sure you're probably doing lives. I don't watch them anymore. Pretty sure you're doing lives, but if somebody should really hate their own voice, maybe that's one. When she was saying my voice, trust me, mine's more like a godsend, than scratching a chalkboard. That's my feelings on myself. Okay, so moving on, guys. Like I said, so the next thing, oh yeah, which one do I want to bring up first? So I'm not gonna. So I was, going back through some of my old screenshots that I have of some conversations. And by the way, who knows? You guys got to know the answer. Justin did a live yesterday, and Justin was playing clips of Daniel talking. What interview was that he was playing? Thank you, Granny. Love you. A little bit more than Shannon right now. What interview was that? Like, whose channel was he on? Was that a private conversation? The one that Charmaine had? Was that from Charmaine's live? Was it from my live that I just don't remember it? Do you guys know where? Because normally Justin at the very bottom will say credit to, It's Crime and Shame, credit to True Crime Story podcast and stuff like that. And you go on, Graham. See, look at that. That's right. Go on. Go on with your bad selves. I'm willing to be egotistical here and listen to that. Yeah. I thought it was private. Yeah, I'm just not sure. So I was wondering if that was the conversation when, with Charmaine there, because her name wasn't edited out properly like he thought it was when he released it in the members live. So I was just curious. I was just wanted to go back to that. Hiker. Go on. Thank you. You're a strong light for Jack and Lily and yeah. You know what? A lot of us are. Thank you. I don't think he mentioned it. Okay. Yeah. Someone had said it to me and I said, oh, well, what interview or, was that, or not interview, but you know what I mean. Right. But I'll ask Charmaine if that was from hers conversation or something like that. Yeah. I just didn't have time to actually look. And hi, Joyous. Thank you for being here. By the way, thank you again for that super sticker chat the other day. It will go definitely towards my fund on the road trip up to Calgary. It's It's a good 11-hour drive. But on the way back, I'm going to go see Charmaine. Oh, and again, for people that, if you guys didn't see these yet, let's just quickly show them one more time before I move on. These are the pens that Cheryl sent, Cheryl W. Don't get that mixed up with Cheryl Christine, Cheryl W. Okay. And they're just gorgeous pens. And she sent some, she's sending another one for Charmaine. And yeah. So it would be nice to see Charmaine for the first time. That will be about, I'll probably see her somewhere between July 13th to 15th area. Big stickers. Little stickers. Beautiful, beautiful. Little pin she sent me personally. You're doing a good job. Oh, no, bitch. You're doing a good job. Yeah. All right. And then, like I said, this. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so kindly. I'm so excited. And these pens, they're good. They're good. The Hustler. Sonny, hope you come see me too while you're in town. Where do you live? Where do you live? Okay. Next thing. Thank you guys. Hi, Budettes. Oh yeah, right. So I was asking you guys if you guys knew what the conversation was. That's right. And if you, Salmon Arm. Oh. Well, that's where Shar is in Salmon Arm. On there. Mind you, I'm not going to lie, Hustler. This particular time, I'm literally going to just be doing a couple-hour visit and then heading back down. So it actually is just going to be a couple-hour visit. But have you and Charmaine ever met up? Since you guys, like, I know I moved. Yeah. You know, because you guys are in the same area, like, same place. Okay. Which screenshot am I going to show first? Okay. I think this one. Let me make myself smaller. Oh, did I? Oh, okay. I grabbed one of the wrong ones. I should have grabbed the other one. Let me make myself smaller, but let's leave this one first. So remember Daniel keeps claiming that he didn't do drugs. So we already know from Haley about the drug situation. Okay. Now I'm going to preface this about Haley when I was speaking to her yesterday. I've sent messages recently to Haley to ask her a few things. She definitely was not responding as much as I know her from before. Why? Because, so Haley basically said when we're, basically if we're having a conversation, I don't need to say everything she said to the internet for the fact of she's tired of people blasting her. You know what I mean? After a while, people get sick of it. So I told her I understood. And if Haley, in the future wants to talk to me about something, I let her know that I'm always here, if ever. But after a while, there's people that were trying to be a voice for Jack and Lily. And then, you have to put yourself in their shoes, right? And then they get bashed and trashed, and all they're trying to do is, give you the information that you know. Thank you, Helicopter Grandma. Let me see who got that one. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. I gotta wait for my screen to come on down. The Hustler. Look at that, the Hustler 89. You just got that from Helicopter Grandma. Make sure you thank her. The snakes keep eating their own tails and each other's. I'm never gonna let you down. No. All right. Insert you in a second for dessert, which I'm gonna have. You know what I ordered? Because my order came today. I'm gonna have apple crumble with some custard, because husband likes it. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. That was helicopter, Grandma. Yeah. So there you go. Thank you guys very much. Okay. So I just wanted to say that about Haley is that, um, people, like I said, there are people that are trying to put out the truth of what they know. Doesn't mean that they know the answers. And they're only going to put out so much information regardless, right? Um, Cheryl told me that Malaya caught Daniel in the bathroom. Well, that's just it. And that's the same thing we were talking about before, right? That Haley had said too, because she corrected the time. But anyway, so going back to Haley quickly. So yeah, so I'm never gonna sit there and bug someone. Um, if they don't want, if they're just trying to lay low in a sense and, tired of being bashed and trashed. And then, because obviously, if Haley says something to me, right, type of thing, you want to put it out there to answer a question, right? Like about the tree and the blanket, because she was one of the people there, or if by chance about the halter top, right? But I could just tell. I can always tell, and when somebody is obviously they're looking at your messages, but they're not really answering you back. So I basically sent a message, saying obviously that I could tell that. And, obviously I understood. So when it comes to Haley, like I said, I'm just gonna, if she ever wants to speak to me or says I can say something. Now, if it's already information out there, that's fine. Right. But as for any future information and stuff like that, if she does tell me anything, you're not going to hear about it unless she gives the okay. Because I get it. We're not in their shoes. This Jack and Lily, as much as we love them as children of our own, we don't live the life every day of people trying to get in touch with you, people backstabbing you, and just everything, the rigmarole, that goes along with the case, right? Being a family member. Um, so right, she's got the kids, right? Job and everything else. Absolutely. You know what? She feels like she did her part. She said what she needed to say. And again, you know, after a while, it gets old. And you know full well that it's up to the RCMP and MCU unit to bring the justice for Jack and Lily, right? We can talk about it, we can speculate and all that stuff, but that's not going to tell us where Jack and Lily are, because that is up to the law enforcement to provide those answers, or someone with that information, that one or two or three people that likely have that information. So it says, I'm not sure. Now, this message is not from Haley. I did take off the face, but okay. So it's not from Haley, but I just didn't want to attach Cheryl, Christine's face, like her profile face to it. But trust me when I say it, I don't think she has any issue, because she did not like Daniel. And I think that she's made that very clear, just like Haley, about Daniel. Okay. So she says, I'm not sure about that. I didn't hear she woke up in the middle of the night. She did tell. Okay. Well, then apparently you got that one wrong. Then maybe perhaps, I'm not sure. On the hustler. Because, well, I mean, depends, right? Maybe she did, and maybe you have a screenshot of that. Either way, I think the bottom line is that she did tell me he was up all night doing drugs, but was unsure of what time he went to bed. Oh, again, right? And I've said this multiple times, that there was multiple people that have talked about this, right? But so I wanted to share the screenshot of just yet another person that has said Malaya told them that Daniel was up doing drugs. But Daniel, of course, Danielle, are you going to admit it yet? I just want to know, because you went from not doing drugs to that you didn't do drugs till this point in time. And then next thing you know, it got closer and closer to the disappearance of Jack and Lily, but you still never admitted it, right? It didn't matter that there was, the drugs found in, like the man kit thing in the bathroom that Malaya said where it was. Doesn't matter about that. Doesn't matter about that Malaya told, basically the sister and the friend about the drugs. So I just want to know when you're going to admit the truth about this. Like, you've come this far, you might as well take another step forward. Just take a leap of faith, right? And at the finish line, Daniel, for you, KFC bucket, Just saying. But I mean, Daniel, you should just come clean about this, okay? You've been outed multiple times about this. But maybe he just doesn't want to admit it to it because that leads to the truth about what happened to Jack and Lily. She says she's not sure. She woke up in the middle of the night, and that's not what she said to me. Right. Perfect. And that's just it, right? I mean, I know with Cheryl that, she does not love Daniel. She has no problem talking about him. But, again, what sometimes people say to one person, maybe a little bit differently to another. But I still think the objective is there that Daniel was up doing drugs. But I had heard as well that, when Haley had said this, because we already talked about this, so I have no problem saying this, that it was like around 4:00 in the morning that she had woke up. Now, she obviously didn't check on Jack and Lily, so it's just food for thought on that. So we don't know. We don't know. But we do, a lot of us believe that, what happened to Jack and Lily happened on that property in our opinions. And those we're allowed to have, right? It just goes with the territory of true crime cases is that people are allowed to have their opinions. I mean, the truth will come out. Don't know when, but it will. I got 1 second here. I gotta take this off, remove. I need to grab the other screenshot here. Image file. Back down to downloads. Okay. And then 1 second here. So is it this one I meant to grab? Let me see. Nope. Did I take a screenshot of the same one twice? 1 second here. Remove. Oh, hello. Peekaboo. Didn't realize I hit that one. Let me see. I'm not sure. Okay, the other one. 1 second. Remove from studio. Okay, let me see it. I might have accidentally took a screenshot of the same one twice, but no problem. I can grab it again. Okay, is it this one? Okay, so it looks like I did. All right. So 1 second. Let me just put this there for a second. Let me go back to my boom. Yes, apparently I did. Okay. So let's see. Image file. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to share. Okay, there we go. And thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, 10:14 my time. I love the wood grain on the dresser. It's pretty. I do too. Kind of why I got it, actually. Yeah, I like that color of wood. Okay, so right here again. You guys remember on Hidden in the Fog, Susan, when Cheryl was talking about the blanket on the rail? Now, I mean, I really felt bad for Cheryl on that particular interview, just because I just really felt like she was getting attacked. Susan had brought up Logan, and you could just see Cheryl was like, you could just see she was ready to hop off, because how that went down. And I honestly, I would have as well. And yeah, I mean, it was like an attack. The minute Logan came up there, it just was, just ignorance of Logan, to Cheryl. And you could just tell that Cheryl was like, what the fuck ever. Right. And then it was like, oh, gotta go, basically. And so anyway, so Cheryl says, yes. So the piece of blanket, because I asked her, okay, this is my conversation with Cheryl, Christine, on this one, because I remembered when she said it was on the rail. And when she said that, I knew instantly that had to have been said by Malaya, because we never heard that before. And the only person that would have said that, logically would have been Malaya. So Yeah, so the piece that was ripped off was put over a railing outside just because it wasn't being used. And that piece that was in the garbage was to cover a hole in the door. It was a door or window to stop the cold air from coming in. Okay, exactly. So that was at like the front door, right? So picture that little piece of, the one that's hanging in the tree, the one that made it from the rail that Daniel says was in the garbage. So remember the inconsistencies a bit. Malaya says that, Malaya says that she took down the blanket from the door of Lily's, a blanket that she no longer was using. So Daniel had ripped off a piece. And obviously, this is the piece on the rail that was probably in the front on that, like in that section of the home. Bottom line is, then we get this version that from Malaya that she put it in the garbage. Well, that, and this is where things don't make sense a little bit, but people try to make sense of it. And then we hear Janie telling us, I saw Daniel putting it in the garbage can. Now that would mean you were putting it at the top, because if Janie comes out and sees him putting it in the bag, because remember, Janie says, not to stuff it too much. Well, if it's at the bottom of the garbage bag, you ain't stuffed nothing yet, right? The garbage ain't full. That means that piece would have been at the top, the way it was described. Now, again, so Malaya puts it in the garbage, and then someone says, well, maybe they both put it in the garbage. Maybe Malaya put it in the inside garbage. Nope, pretty sure not, but it's plausible. But pretty sure that, again, just think about this case and just think about all those inconsistencies. Think about somebody punching a hole in the garbage bag and pulling it out from the bottom where this blanket was. And Daniel, remember, put two and two together to realize, right? Now, in the documents, it says that Hayden, Haley, and, obviously Emily, Hayden's girlfriend, it says, showed Malaya and Daniel the picture. Well, kind of like the news, maybe sometimes the accuracy can be a little bit off. Now, so it's up to you to think, well, do you think that Daniel saw this blanket? Because remember, Daniel said he saw or was talking about a different blanket. And then that story changed. And then Darren comes out and says, like, the reason he lied about the water bottle and this and that and the two shirts and blah, blah, blah is because, they didn't want, and then he says, well, thankfully that Daniel got ahead of that and told the RCMP about it, and you're just like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Unless you're guilty of something. No. So, you guys know how Daniel is a forward, it's like he's predicting what is already going to be thought of when somebody hears it. So he puts it out there in a sense ahead of time, kind of like the whole Narc and Luke, situation. Well, same thing about this, right? So he tells Darren that, basically Malaya's family went into the house, they took some items, and that they were planting them against Daniel. That probably goes up to the same about the helicopters when he's out of service and they get worried about Daniel. Okay? When I heard, can I just go back to that for a second? Because, there's stuff that could be true, and then there's stuff that's absolutely not true. And I think any normal person with one brain cell in their head would understand that in no way, shape, or form would Pictou County or anyone else use their resources to make sure that Daniel was okay and to send a helicopter in. That's when you really, sorry, Daniel, not sorry, actually, but, I'm just calling a spade on this one. Either the drugs have done you in very badly for you to actually believe that yourself, but to physically have those words come out of your mouth is beyond laughable, ridiculous, absurd. No way in fucking hell that is going to happen. Okay, it's not. So when Daniel said that, and he was talking about all these drones, police drones, and he knows that they are and stuff like that, either you're whacked out on drugs as you were talking about that, or that you're so fucking delusional that you actually believe that yourself, you know? And a lot of us have thought, and he did take a course. He did take a course on some sort of investigative stuff. Again, this isn't normal, people, but no helicopter, no drones. The only reason why drones are going to follow Daniel, they might have said to him, Daniel, yeah, we have a few drones in the area, just keeping an eye on you. And if he was the sapsucker that bought that shit, that's on him, okay? Because the only thing drones are doing or helicopters would be doing, and there's no helicopter. So, like, Daniel, this is about reality versus, right, delusional here. And no one in their right mind would believe that. I'm sure that if the RCMP and MCU heard that, they would be rolling on the floor laughing their fucking ass off that you bought it hook, line, and sinker, if that were the case. But there's definitely no helicopter coming over for you because you're to protect you. It's just not happening. They ain't wasting your resources on you. You're not that special. It might be a special case, but that's because there's a special bunch of liars in this case, and then it gets diluted with a bunch of BS, mixed up with a bunch of, misinformation and people purposely giving misinformation. But I like to stay in the land of sane, reality, level-headed, and using, of course, logic. It's not hard, right? So anyone with all of that can easily decipher that that's just not true. It's just not true, okay? Bet you a KFC bucket over it. Yeah. Unfortunately, Sunny DM lived it, and the cycle was not broken. It was not broken. He is a predator controlling a creep after what I see, especially his text. Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like, that's just it. Daniel, by the same token, right? As much as he's trying to always convince us, that he's telling the truth and say that he doesn't lie. Well, we know that that's a lie. Because we've seen all the texts, a lot of the texts from Taylor, right? We've seen what Malaya has said regardless and stuff like that. He's been trying to deny about the drug. But again, Daniel's, to me, trying to put on his best act, his best recovery from where the truth lies. That's how I see it, and I don't subscribe to Daniel's events. I think that there's certain things that are true. And I think that there's a lot of things that aren't true. And that goes for Malaya as well. And it's not lopsided there. I think it's just that Daniel chose to be the person to, of course, stand up for Jack and Lily publicly, while Malaya went and hid, right? Maybe that's because he loved her so much that, hey, you know what, Malaya, I'm going to take this on. Don't you worry about it. I got my conning skills, my manipulative skills. I know that you probably suck at yours. So you stay in the background. Don't worry. I got this type of thing, right? I don't know. This case is very diluted. So, again, now let's go on to, actually, hold on. Before I do this again, I'm going to play you a little portion from Plunder. Let me just bring myself. He does. He does. You talking about which, are you talking about the one on Justin's live yesterday? The orange is the new black. Yeah. and you will not be wearing red shoes. You will be wearing socks and flip flops from day one. Yeah. And, like I said, where this case, ends up, it ends up. What will be regardless. Okay. That's life. That's the way things go. It might not be what we want, but we just have to wait, see what transpires, wait for his other court date. When that arrives, because that's probably going to arrive before answers for Jack and Lily come. But things are meant to work out the way they're meant to work out. Life isn't fair. I remember, I'm always my stepdad saying to that, who said life was fair? I sure didn't. Nope. And it cannot, right? Lots of times it's not. Lots of times, the RCMP and police LE cases, they know who did something, but they don't have the evidence to prove it, right? And then maybe sometimes 10, 15, 20 years, something breaks. Something breaks. Most of these cases that are breaking from cold cases are because of DNA. But guess what? Everything's improving. Everything just keeps improving, right? But that's where it lacks to me. The truth can have more than one version. Well, it'd be nice if one person told the absolute version. That would be awesome. That would be great, right? Then we could go, finally, you know what? We have some answers. Not that, anyone following cases, you want to hear what the outcome was. Whether it was good or bad, you want to hear the outcome, right? And most times they're not good outcomes. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Patty kicked them out. Patty was concerned about DM abusing Jack and Lily. Yeah, like I said, I know that Daniel's trying to sell us like he said, like, as if you're going to sell ice to the Eskimos and that they would buy it, but we're not. That's just it, though. Daniel can try and try and try, right? But at this point in time, he's lost the credibility of the public for the most part. There is very few that, believe in Daniel. It's a small group. Most people at this point, especially after the 1 year mark, most of them have come to their senses that something's very wrong. But there are still some people that think that the children are hidden or that they've been trafficked and stuff like that. But the majority of people do not feel like Jack and Lily are alive. Actually, let me just quickly look at that poll. What was the poll for Brandon? Where's my poll? Right here. Okay. Where are you at with Brandon's accounts of what happened May 2nd in the morning? 17% said less and less believing in him. 27% said sounds credible. 31% top one says confused as fuck. 24% said, oh, the drama llama, poor Lily and Jack. And I think that's just because right now it's all just going around, but give it some time and then we'll see more of the truth come out with it. Because so many things are inconsistent with what has been said, what he has said, and stuff like that. And my thing is, again, if you're going to speak, then talk on a channel where you can actually use your own words instead of thinking that you're going to communicate like Daniel was trying to do. And then he basically fucked himself over. And same with Janie, too, to be honest with you. They didn't know that the best way was at least to talk with your own voice, than trying to reason with people behind emails, texts, all these things, but that's stuff that they didn't know. And I can't blame them, but it was to their own demises. Right. Now Janie knows how to hit that freaking, record button or talk button, join a live and all that stuff, Daniel's super pro at that as well, and so I say the same thing to Brandon, put up or shut up. If you put yourself into the fire and you get roasted because you're trying to, people or yourself is trying to make people understand why you said this and why you said you were on a quad, why, Alvin's saying that you didn't, then so be it. But anyways, I'm going to quickly play something from Plunder, like I just said a few moments ago. And stop screen. Right, this one right here. Okay. I got too many tabs open, people. Oh, hold on. Yeah, share screen. Lily and Jack. Share the screen. Gonna have to take that. Whoops. Takes me a minute, guys. Janie's voice clips. Epic. Thing is that there was a few clips that I obviously missed. By the time the third day came around, most of it was just her repeating herself. I was working. I was like, now at this point, you're just repeating so many questions. I couldn't have been asked to go get those ones, to be honest. I don't know how many she said more, but I've obviously heard some more that she did say differently. But trust me, that took me like a long time to put those clips together of Janie from that particular Facebook group. I literally went I'm trying to work and I'm on my breaks and I'm using my breaks. And I literally had to sit here like this in order to record those two a video clip. I literally had to play each one and I couldn't turn off my mic like you can do when you're recording a video. So my ass was so effing sore by the time I was done those 2 days of clips. And I was doing that. That's ones I was doing for Alana to give to the RCMP. And that's why I actually made that 2 hour and 37 minute, whatever it was for that purpose. But imagine sitting there all freaking day. And then when work's done, I'm literally hitting next one, next record. Oh my God, you guys. Janie has not suffered like I suffered listening to all those fucking clips over and over again and literally recording them all. Sitting in this chair for probably 12 hours with a sore ass and all that shit. So when you want to complain on Janie, trust me, I think I got the bragging rights on that one. Anyway, let's just play this. Notice Daniel speaks all syrupy like with Charmaine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's a Daniel 2.0. It's the person that, the thing is that it's hard to take Daniel seriously. I get, if he wants to speak and say stuff, fair enough, right? Right? If he wants to. So he had an option to join Charmaine's live, this live, and he had an option not to as well, right? Again, some people wanted to hear Daniel regardless, and that was fine. And that's what it was all about, right? Did it change my mind? No. It didn't, because it would take a freaking the world to shift and move for me at this point to change my mind on the perception, the likelihood, and everything that I see. And it's not because I'm blinded. It's because I've already went through the other stuff and the other stuff doesn't make sense. But this is what makes sense whenever we see bad timelines, deception, manipulation, inconsistencies, a mother that hides, and all this bullshit. And people want to call that normal? That happens? So if those are the people that are doing it, then who do you think's responsible? To me, it's 2 + 2, right, Daniel? 2 + 2. Yep. Okay. And I think I was going to say something else, but I can't remember. So I'm just going to play this clip and then we'll come back to you guys. Okay. So this is Plunder from her channel, and Plunder did a great job. She got the audio, from the whatever, not Spotify, but whatever scanner audio she'd got out in Canada here. That had it and blah, 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 Pictou County stuff and whatever. So anyways, I love Plunder. She compacts a lot of information in short. She's a journalist through and through. But anyways, let me put that big to the screen. And I'm going to play a bit. 1 second. Ready? Got your ears on, people? Let's make sure we got our volume up. Ears on. Let's go.
Continue to look, and probably continue to look for the rest of my life. That is an interesting quote. I hope we get that video of him too, the rest of him saying that, because those are quite a couple of quotes. I don't know if he meant to say we're never going to give up hope, and that's what he actually said, and it's a misprint. But
you guys remember this, right? This was one of a couple that he did where he said the weirdest thing. So he says, I talked to the last of RCMP in the area that I've seen. They were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me they scoured the lake with divers and sonar and technology in the lake, and there's no evidence at all. I don't know what to think. If they were in this area, they would have found them. Yeah, if they were in that area. Exactly. Remember those words, people. If they were in this area, they would have found them. My family is still searching, and we're never giving up, never going to give hope. Obviously, give up hope. We're going to continue to look and probably continue to look for the rest of my life, he said. Well, that whole statement there, I'll just come back on for a second. So, that whole statement there obviously is strange, right? I mean, the children are just missing, and you're gonna keep looking for them for the rest of your life, as if you know that they're not coming back, and they're definitely not in that area, or else they would have found them, you know. But anyways, so Daniel's made a few comments, kind of like that one comment where he says that there's no magic in the air. It was actually crazy that that one lady, Pamela Hurley, remember she did a read for Jack and Lily, and she said it's like there's no magic in the air. And I was like, wait a second, I literally heard Daniel in a media article say that exact same thing. It was crazy. I don't even use that. Well, there's no magic in the air. Like nobody's around. There's just no magic in the air. It's just a weird thing to say, you know? But that kind of reminds me of like the new Daniel. He says a lot of, like, he's tidied up his words and his talk. He's cleaned it up, right? Because he's becoming a better person. He's reevaluating himself and his life, and he's trying to take all his flaws and, you know, turn them around. That's great. What happened to Jack and Lily, though? Want to know about that first. Then we can talk about how you've improved yourself and all that stuff. But as long as you're working on yourself in any which way, shape, or form, good on you, you know? But if you're going to come to the internet now after this much time and think that we're going to somehow switch our minds because you're talking better, you're not stuttering as much, you know how to do interviews more, possibly know how to talk about lies more, you know, and stuff like that, or be manipulative, you know, that's just it. It's like trying to sell, like said, ice to the Eskimos. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, so let me play a little bit more of that. Do. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, if you haven't hit that like button, please do. Be right back.
He's expecting to look for the rest of his life as if he'll never find Lily and Jack. So if they're looking and finding like little stickers, that shows you the detail. And I think this was really late at night, if I'm not mistaken. I have different times on the audio, and I'm like, whoa, they found that so late at night. They're really looking. It was on the bridge. You know, they're looking for real great detail, clues. That's how detailed these searchers are. There was a canine unit, according to the audio, that was tasked to investigate the blanket. Now, we heard about this.
This is Colchester Base calling the K-9 unit tasked to investigate the blanket. Do you copy? Over.
True crime audio.
This is Bravo 3. I was with Kilo 2 like 3 seconds ago. He went towards the main road there. We're done at that site. The dog didn't get a track or anything like that. Bravo 3 sees the blanket.
3, this is Command. Can I get an updated position, please? Over.
The dog didn't get a track, and Bravo 3 sees the blanket. Now, this does confirm talk of the blanket. According to the CBC, the children's stepfather, Daniel, said the Mounties showed him shirts, a blanket, and a water bottle found during the search near their Gairloch Road home somewhere. And he says none of those items belong to either child. So now we hear that actual.
Well, let's stop that there. because Darren said that Daniel said that basically one of Malaya's family members went into the house, took 5 items, water bottle, couple shirts, wasn't sure what the other things were, and that they were planted there. So water bottle planted there? Huh. But then Daniel, being as smart as a whip as he is, he let the RCMP know this ahead of time. That's exactly what Darren said. Daniel, he was smart. He was smart. You know, he let the RCMP know that if they happen to find these items, that they were planted there. Well, I mean, somebody believes Brandon, then they're going to believe that Hayden and Emily were there, and Alvin. I personally, with this at this moment, well, let's talk about this for a second. Actually, I'll have to say, out of a couple of videos, well, maybe we'll just play the part that I find somewhat enjoyable, because Daniel keeps being braggadocious about how awesome his uncles are. Well, Daniel, there is 2 uncles that have something different to say about you. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about truth and reality versus fiction and bullshit. So now we have Alvin. Well, should I play this more? Should I get back to that? Let me just see what else is said, and then I'll go back to that, right? But I think my favorite thing out of all of these videos, because at the end of the day, RCMP and MCU are going to be the ones to solve this case. Right now, we're just being filled with a bunch of diluted shit, and it's what you choose to believe. And my two favorite parts is when Wayne and Alvin, who thinks he's talking to, I think you guys mostly know who was the person speaking in that, like who was asking the questions, you know? And if you don't, well, it doesn't take a lot of brain power, to be honest. Like I was choosing, I mean, I have really no problem saying the name, but then I'm like, meh, why? It's not hard to figure it out. And that's all we have at this point. I don't know where to even start. Absolutely. It's really hard to hear what Alvin is. Yeah. I mean, I have the recording and I amped it up, and I put like the words to it, but the words mess up a lot, But here, we'll come, you know what? Because I don't want to spend too much more time. So I'm going to take this down for now. You guys heard a little part about the blanket, but anyways, we'll come back to that like another day. Let's go to a piece of that audio from Monsters of Chaos. Where are you? I know you're around. Oh, this is it here. It's at the perfect timing. Now, I do want to preface this a little bit. A lot of people are kind of discussing about, obviously the person that was talking to Alvin. And my thing is this. I could tell right away. Right, exactly. Helicopter grandma, Chrissy Travers. I could tell right away. Well, at first I was like, this kind of sounds like Daleen. But then I thought, well, why would Daleen? But then when she said no, that it wasn't, then I knew it was Chrissy, because I was just, thinking, who talks like this? Because obviously this person is really good and been doing something like this for a while. I could tell by the way she was talking. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's got to be Chrissy, because she's a PI detective. And these are words that she would be saying. So that's when it dawned on me, right? At first I was like, Daleen, is that you? And then it just was like, yeah, right. Okay. So anyways, you could tell just by the questions that were asked. Now, do I think anything about Chrissy Travers doing this to Alvin? No, I don't care. If that man is stupid enough to talk, knowing full well that people get burned whenever they say something and it gets out there, it's on him. That's not on Chrissy. She just was wording things like if she worded it like about, well, do you want to make a statement on that and stuff like that? Again, Alvin had all the power in the world to not even talk at all. But he chose to talk. And then, of course, when he made the comment, basically, like, you're not recording this or whatever he said something as if, like, that, make sure that this doesn't go out anywhere. Well, too late for that because there's a sucker born every minute, Alvin. And unfortunately, you were the sucker that chose to talk. Okay. So for me, I don't care how, like, I don't think she handled it any which way besides how she would probably handle it if she's handling cases and talking to people. She didn't have to claim, I mean, the only part that made me laugh, but then I kind of was like cringing at is when at the end of it, and this is because Alvin, that's what happens, not the smartest bulb there. When he says, and who am I talking to? And she's like, hello? I can't hear you, breaking up. Hello? And then, of course, it ends. I mean, that did give me a bit of a chuckle. Pretending like you're having the bad reception. Oh, yeah, well, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for that information. Just wanted to clarify. All right, have a good day, buddy. Anyways, I personally I don't really give a shit. It's no different than Tint's video. Yeah, Tint didn't ask for the permission. I'm not going to knock it. He got raw talk from Wade of how he was feeling as an outside. Maybe Daniel cares because, he cares because, like, the case is revolving around them. Hey, everyone's responsible for their own actions and thoughts, right? And if he would have gotten in trouble for that, well, again, that was on him, right? Good night, Sharon. Love you. But I want to hear everything and anything that gives me some more insight. That's all it is insight. It's to try to understand some of the truth between the lies, because we got nothing but time on our hands to fill the gaps with. But if I'm going to try to fill it, it's going to try to be with, as much accurate information, as possible. And the speculation is just simply that, speculation. But I'm going to point out things that are inconsistent or lies or whatever and stuff like that. Now, so trust me, I think most of us loved that information that came from Wade via Tint recording him, and Wade didn't know about it. And it was hilarious, right? Because, again, if they're stupid enough to talk to strangers and open their mouth, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is, if you are willing to open up this little flapper and talk to a stranger that's coming to supposedly buy a horse trailer, sorry, not sorry, because you opened your mouth and you didn't have to. You could have not even talked about the case at all. But he did. Wade, obviously, he just didn't know it was going to be recorded. Alvin, same thing. You could have hung up that phone any time off Chrissy Travers. But you didn't. And then you started saying things. And what did you say? Well, let's play the part, one of the parts that I love most. Do. Got volume up. Yeah, we're good. All right.
I don't like the little, my sister's son, because he's a conniving little. I never laid eyes on those kids in my life. This is May 2nd, it's the first time I ever laid eyes on those kids.
My sister's son, because he's a conniving little. Imagination station on that one, people. But I'm pretty sure the words conniving little were not, oh my God, Daniel, he's such a great nephew. I love Daniel to pieces. No. Daniel's trying to make us believe, oh, my uncles are greatest. Do you know what your uncles are saying behind your back, Daniel? And if you don't, you certainly do now. All right. That's uncle number 2 that spoke badly of you. Doesn't seem like, I just feel if people were like, I mean, I already heard that most of the neighbors don't like you, right? Says a lot. Says a lot when your own fucking uncles say this about you. That tells you a lot about who you are. If your own uncles that don't even know that they're being recorded but are speaking the truth, just like Tint when he recorded Wade. Same shit, same thing. So now, let me see this. I think I have to go. Where is it? Right here. Let me see. It's on my Google Drive. 1 second. Stop screen share. Share screen. Now, make sure you guys can hear this. Let me know in chat that you guys can hear this, okay? All right. Thank you, Charmaine. All right. 1 second. All right. Wayne McKenzie, please tell us how much you love Daniel. Make sure you guys tell me that you guys can hear this, okay? Okay. Here we go.
Soon he's gonna get his face punched in real bad. Because he's driving my sister crazy. He is on her case like you would fucking believe. He's smashing vehicles like fucking crazy. He just wrote my sister's car off. But he can't fucking drive. And if he don't be pulled off the road pretty soon, he's gonna kill somebody. Waste the fucking time and money as far as I'm concerned. They got to question her. She is 100% to do with that fucking thing. I said, where's Daniel? Oh, they loaded up her SUV and they went over to Tour over there and like get a bunch of clothes done for the kids. Because
Ask her what that noise
dirty
is.
clothes on and things like that. Anyway, he fucks up everything. He fucked up my sister's washer, her electric stove, everything like that. That's in Truro, yes. They come back around 10 o'clock that night with very little clothes for the kids and no bed clothes and very little toys. It's all fucking planned from the get-go.
Quickly.
What time? Yeah. Are they sure? Are they 100% sure? My sister, she's on the fucking chat. And Daniel lays in his fucking bed with an electric heater on and doesn't work, he's living off my sister. He is to live off the government. He wants to file for custody for the baby, get a government house and live in town and live off the government. I hope the fuck they ship the baby right out of the province. I wish the fuck they'd hurry up and do it. Because I already moved from Millbrook over to Shubenacadie. I'd love to neither one of them get the baby and ship the baby from here to fucking New Brunswick or Montreal or down in the States or something like that. To get rid of it.
I like Wayne.
Well, she went in the other day and they had a great big ton of war fight. I was leaving. She had a great big ton of war fight with him. She told me to fuck out, pack and bag, fuck out. And you know what he said? You can't. I can't. I don't have to leave. I own this place. Because she went and got her 2 sons and her name put on her deed. Fuck. And now he says I own a third of the place and you can't get me out.
All right. So they banished Wayne from the family apparently because of that. Well, what's going to happen to Alvin? Right? I'm busting my gut. Absolutely. Preach it to the choir, Daniel. I mean, preach it. Now you got uncle number 2, Alvin, calling you a conniving little, I'll just fill in the blanks. Little fucker. Okay? Little lying, conniving, manipulative little fucker. Then you got Wayne, Wayne McKenzie, this was truthful. This was truthful. He has no idea what happened to those children. Just like I don't believe that Alvin does. They believe that Daniel's a lying little fucker, and he's, trashed how many cars? No offense, Daniel, but these are coming out of your own uncle's mouth. Talk to the mic, Daniel. Come on. Come up on this live and you sit there and tell us why that both your uncles are wrong about you. Seriously. But that's embarrassing, man. Like, it's truthful. But if I was Daniel, I'd be like doing the walk of shame. If that's how my family members talked about me behind my back. fuck. This is with 2 children missing. Mm-hmm. You think who did it for a reason? Helicopter. When you say he did it for a reason. I mean, all I could hear is the rage coming out of this man. Like, I think what we've all said. Don't let either of them have access to the baby. None of them. They know what's up. They know what's up on that. Oh, crushed the car. Yeah. Yeah. The car. You know, that reminds me, which we'll talk about another day. Justin calls Daniel Martell. Yeah, I know I do. He always says that. Hey, Martell. Because, well, Justin will appreciate this one. Nope, not that one. Justin will appreciate this one, right? A screenshot from Malaya. Well, we know it's from Cheryl, though, right? Like I said, Cheryl has no qualms about calling Daniel the POS at all. She can't stand his ass worth nothing. You know, I can appreciate. Again, it's about the truth, not about bullshit, right? No. So was it supposedly a Dodge Journey that was crushed? Wayne suggested the kid's disappearance was planned due to coming home late with no clothes and toys. Right. You know, let's do ourselves a favor. Let's listen to Wayne again. Let's do that. I mean, Alvin's was a little shorter, but we all know the gist of exactly what he was saying. But I think that we're giving ourselves a treat here by listening to that again. Okay, share screen. Wayne McKenzie. Here you go, Wayne. Stage is all yours. Go ahead.
He's going to get his face punched in real bad. Because,
he's going to get his
he's
face
driving my
punched
sister
in.
crazy. He is on her case like you would fucking believe. He's smashing vehicles like fucking crazy. He just wrote my sister's car off. Because you can't fucking drive. And if you don't be pulled off the road pretty soon, he's going to kill somebody. Waste of fucking time and money as far as I'm concerned. They got to question her. She is 100% to do with that fucking thing. I said, where's Daniel? Oh, they loaded up her SUV and they went over to Truro over there and must like get a bunch of clothes on for the kids. Because the kids would go to school with dirty clothes on and things like that. Anyway, he fucks up everything. He fucked up my sister's washer, her electric stove, everything like that. That's in Truro, yes. They come back around 10 o'clock that night with very little clothes for the kids and no bed clothes and very little toys. It was all fucking planned from the get-go.
Quickly.
What time? Okay. Are they sure? Are they 100% sure? My sister, she's on the fucking chat. And Daniel lays in his fucking bed with electric heater on and doesn't work, he's living on my sister. He is to live off the government. He wants to file for custody for the baby, get a government house and live in town and live off the government. Well, I hope the fuck they ship the baby right out of the province. I wish the fuck they'd hurry up and do it. Because I already moved from Millbrook over to Shubenacadie. I'd love to neither one of them get the baby and ship the baby from here to fucking New Brunswick or Montreal or down in the States or something like that to get rid of it. Well, she went in the other day and they had a great big son of war fight. I was leaving. She had a great big son of war fight with him. She told me, get the fuck out, pack and bag, get the fuck out. And you know what he said? You can't. I can't. I don't have to leave. I own this place. Because she went and got her 2 sons and her name put on her deed. Fuck. And now he says I own a third of this place and you can't get me out. Soon he's gonna get.
Okay. Now, Logan has a black car, and I've shown you guys that picture, or at least, yeah, like unless she got a journey recently, because well, there's a couple things here. Now my mind's just racing. They were all planned to let it go. Now he, of course, says, you need to question her. No. You're right about both, right? I mean, basically, Wayne sat there and accused Daniel of, you know, needing a punch in the face, crashing up all the vehicles, can't drive, meaning, I mean, Daniel was driving without a license, but meaning he simply can't drive, like car wrecks all the time. And then he claimed he was basically a leech off of his sister, and that he sat there lying in bed with the electric heater on all the time, didn't work, and enjoyed getting money from the government. That sounds about right. Don't know. She's in the system. She's in the system. Nope. Wasn't aware actually who recorded it. But if it was Brandon, well then, good on him. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm willing to listen. I don't care who it comes from. I don't even know this Brandon dude. DM lied about his honesty. Right. Exactly. This is where I believe Anita Bonita. Okay. I believe that there's some truthful things that she's saying. You know, I mean, it's one of those things that when you look at certain aspects, you know, of the case, if you're taking and picking parts aside, you know, let's see, Hayden and Emily planted the blanket. Cindy trades in her vehicle on a Tuesday, if it's true, okay? Trades it on Tuesday. Malaya's calling up child tax credit on a Monday. Her family is basically saying that she doesn't seem to have any signs, though, as if the children are missing. Now, that's where, so it kind of can look a lot like as if Malaya, Cindy, and whatever, Hayden, you know, could have done this, right? I don't think so at all. Because when you look at what Wade said in his video, all three of them should be up a fucking bunch of liars and drugs and this and that and on and on and on. Right? I'm pretty sure that him and Cindy had multiple conversations. I'm pretty sure that when Anita was in the home, that the awkwardness was there for sure. Right? Trying to get the receipts. I believe there's certain things that I do believe that if Anita just kind of would have come off as a normal person instead of this, you know, amped up freaking, you know, booster fucking juice thing, you know, 5.0 instead, and just maybe remained just a normal, somewhat talker and just trying to put out the facts properly. But then she got all like over the top, and, you know, it's like listening to a New Yorker that's just like, you know, Mikey, it's crucial, Mikey, you know, it's vital information, Mikey. You know, when you have to listen to that and this over the topness and how she was accusing everyone underneath the sun, from Chance to Jordan. Now, I'm not saying that these people are posh people, you know, but do I believe that they had something to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily? Like she's been claiming all day long and stuff like that. But I just like to look for where the truth seems to lie the most. Does it make sense? Well, Hayden and Emily planting this blanket, like I told you. Tell me one good theory about why Malaya would literally have to use her family, incorporate, you know, let's just say her side of the family. Let's just say Alvin came across them by happenstance, even though Alvin denies that, but whatever. But give me one solid theory about why Malaya would have had to have done any of that. It would only make sense if both of them were involved in trying to perhaps sell off these children and get rid of them, get them out of their hair. You know, massive family cover-up shit. Not there. I'm personally not there at all. So that's why for me, it's like there's certain things that could look like it, you know? And then there's Daniel, who's constantly blaming Haley for everything. But again, it's their own timeline. Malaya, Daniel, Janie, all place hearing and or seeing Lily that morning, Janie with her, she heard Malaya hushing the children, even though she denies it. Janie, why didn't they buy your story? You think the RCMP is stupid? Daniel, do you think the RCMP is stupid? Malaya, do you think the RCMP is stupid? You might be selling that shit to family members, right? About, I just want my children back. I want them back. I want them back so bad. You know, I'm just sorry. At what anything that I see is that those people placed hearing and seeing Jack and Lily that morning and left a very small 20-minute gap basically of when suddenly these children managed to take a magic carpet ride, fly off in a UFO or a freaking vehicle like Back to the Future, and they didn't hear it. Can't happen. Daniel runs up into it. Their whole story keeps falling apart based on their own words. So all of them. So put that together with the RCMP aren't buying Janie's timeline, right? Because again, common sense says no scent from the children. It didn't happen that day. Happened either that Thursday night. Now, I want to talk about something that as I was looking at a document, they said that they were at Patty's house, right? I'll come back. Sonny, you know my problem. I don't even know the truth. That's just it. No, that's just it, right? Be pissed off. Be pissed off for the amount of bullshit for this case. But then pull it back and look at the common sense of what's going on. Look at the timeline and look who's trying to deceive us. Look who left the property, who didn't speak up for the children, right? So yeah, it's disgusting. It's frustrating because this is all derived around two missing children. And people are playing games. And then there's people to me like Haley, Belinda, that are trying to speak up to what they know, their knowledge, right? Belinda's taken attacks, same way. Haley's taken attacks. And yet they're trying to be the truthful ones in most ways. Haley is not going to outright tell me every single thing that she knows about this case at all. And I don't expect that, right? I mean, it's great when she does share, or when she did share, I should say. But same with Belinda. It was, when this first came out, great information, right? Thank you, Helicopter Grandma. Yeah, that's for the frustrations. Take it out on those gift memberships. You go ahead. 1 second. Let's see who got that one, Helicopter. Zygote 11. You got that membership from Helicopter Grandma. Okay. So like I said, as maddening as what we're watching, even with the whole Brandon situation going on, remember, this is gap filling stuff. Never gonna run around and desert you. I desert you in a second. Thanks for the gifted membership, Helicopter Grandma. Since 2020, over 200 children have been unalived. You can say murdered. By parents or step-parents. In my information, that's what happened in this case. Well, the stats are really high about that. So like I said, common sense says, look at the start of the case, okay? Now, let me just quickly go back to that. So on Wednesday, they leave around 12 o'clock and, go to Grandma Patty's house to do laundry. I'm trying to remember exactly what Daniel said on Charmaine's live. Could have been mine. Honestly, I must have been dead to the world because I don't remember most shit that Daniel said on my live. I would have to go back and listen to it myself. But anyway, so he was talking about the laundry, basically I didn't plan on spending like 8 hours there doing laundry. Wait a second. That was the same day that Malaya was getting her licenses, that she was gassing up, that she was going to the vape store. Oh, wait. And then don't forget, you guys took Grandma Patty's credit card and you guys went to Walmart. You guys went to Walmart at 7:53, Malaya goes in. At 8 o'clock or 8:02 or something like that, Daniel comes in with the children. And then they leave Walmart. I believe it was at 8:48 or 8:43, something like that. Okay? What do you mean you were doing laundry all fucking day? You were sitting there siphoning off Grandma Patty. Malaya, you said Malaya went out and did all that other stuff, gassing up and this and that. Now, Patty, she's all confused a little bit. She's saying that Daniel sat in the car the entire time, but she couldn't remember. Maybe Daniel actually did sit in the car the entire time. Maybe he actually did, because you can tell that they weren't doing laundry for frickin'. Now, remember, they went over there with a bunch of laundry, right? All these bags worth of laundry to do for that Jack and Lily and blah, 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 blah. Nope. Too busy traversing around spending Grandma Patty, the cash cow there. Not, and take no offense, Patty, when I say cash cow. It's just a term. And then you guys go to Walmart, do some shopping, buy some groceries, because you're leeching. Right, Earl? With wooden food. Right, Janie? Giving over her trailer there, sticking that other trailer and stuff like that. Daniel, you conniving. Oh, wait, that was Alvin that said that. What about Wayne Mackenzie, your beloved other uncle? I wonder what your other uncles have to say about you guys, both of you, as a matter of fact. This isn't just about Daniel. It's about Daniel and Malaya, right? It's about these children not having, what did he say? Dirty clothes? Right. It's because there's no laundry to do on the property. And then if you look at conversations, it's basically like, it's almost like, I can't remember if it was Daniel that said it. It's like, how often did you go to Patty's? Because it didn't seem like it sounded very often. Like what? Once every couple weeks? Once a month? You took all the laundry over there? But wait a second. You were out getting your driver's license. Thank you, Patty. You were out getting vape juice. Thank you, Patty. You were out getting gas 2 times. Thank you, Patty. And you were out doing shopping on Grandma Patty's credit card. Grandma Patty, you sucker, you. Love you to pieces, Grandma Patty. But you obviously treated these children way too good for what they deserved. Yep. So don't forget that. At 8:43, right? They leave Walmart. Now they have to go back to Patty's to give her back her card, of course. Doesn't it piss you off just hearing just how because they fucked over the tax credit for the child tax credit? Reap what you sow. And then who's helping them out? Earl? Janie? Grandma Patty? Others? But the thing that we can't deny is that family members knew what was going on in that place. Grandma Patty did. Cindy did. Wade did. And nobody did anything to protect those children. You can't say Belinda knew what was going on because she didn't. She didn't visit them like Wade and Cindy had gone, right? Or Grandma Patty talking with Malaya. Belinda wasn't privy to that information. She didn't even know where they lived. She had tried to contact Malaya. So whenever anyone wants to shit on Belinda, fuck off. Fuck off. Seriously. There's so many people that still were in contact, in a sense, with Malaya, her mother, that knew what was going on. Darren said he knew because Grandma Patty asked him to go help Malaya get out of that situation and stuff. And I get it. I think Malaya and Daniel's relationship toxic as fuck. These people are playing with fire. But in this case, it was with children. And these children are now suffering because of them. And the chances that Jack and Lily are still with us is so nominal. Sunny, 6 children, 6 bags, and bruise on Lily because of the Tonka truck. Oh, there was more than that bruise, right? We saw the one that Lindsay from the Globe and Mail found while she was looking at some field trips, and then saw Jack with a black eye then. All these black eyes. These children that don't have proper clothing. And these children are well taken care of, as the parents claim that they're both sleeping while the children are awake and snuck out a door. Well, the timeline I just don't believe anyway, at all. I mean, it's almost nauseating talking about the timeline because I've talked about it so much, just to keep refreshing people why it's not believable, right? Because it's important. It's important to know the timeline of what they're trying to deliver to us to make sense that it doesn't make sense. That these comments from Luke, the sergeant with the dog Narc, that these comments from the RCMP that spoke to Janie are making those comments. You know? If Janie is protecting her son and Malaya, I mean, it will be to her own demise, right? If it's true, you know? When a mother is put in a position of something like that, I would never want to be, right? I'm always about doing the right thing. So I couldn't tell you exactly what I would do. I would like to think I would do the right thing because that's how I am. And I'd make my son own up to anything that he did because that's the way I am. But by the same token, so many people protect their family members and lie because of loyalty, right? And so this is where with Janie, it's a hard one. Because if they all knew and Janie's just really trying to protect her son, you know, and Malaya with everything, then that's a hard spot to be in. But if she is lying, then she'll face those consequences when they come. You know, simple as that. And that's all you want. And then it doesn't always happen fairly. But you hope that at least the main people that have something to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance are held accountable. And that's what we want. We want answers for Jack and Lily. And we're not here to keep buying the bullshit. We know that RCMP got the number of what's going on with this case, but they lack the evidence. 100%. And okay, let me say 99.999%. Right? They need that one piece to seal charges. And that might never come. It might come in a couple of years. It might come soon. Who knows? Oh, Sonny, you can say it because I have no respect for MBM. No. Or DM. No. Right. Shame on them. I have no words. Taking it back to the bones of it. They're the ones that have put out the story that they let Jack and Lily get out of the yard. You know, but twist that with the fact that they never do any of this stuff. Twist that with the fact that Janie didn't go shopping that day. Like I said, you can lie to some of the people some of the time. You can't lie to all the people or some of the people all of the time. And that's where it's going to, like I said, there's cracks. They're not stupid. And that's what you have to remember in all this. Okay. That they have one shot at getting it right. They're not going to waste that shot without it being as what they would feel is a solid case. Right? They're not going to risk that for anybody. And that's what you have to believe. That the RCMP know exactly the number to what's going on, but that they lack evidence. And to me, that's the absolute truth of it. And that's why, you know, this is just gap filling, like I said, right? We're showing you things sometimes that you might not have seen, kind of like a couple of those screenshots that I never shared, but now I shared them. Why not? You know, Cheryl doesn't like Daniel, and I don't think that she probably really cares, to be honest, about that part. You know, Malaya picture, New Brunswick, 2019. Beautiful little, of course, Lily. So let me just take that down. Little Lily there. And of course, the most important is Jack and Lily that have been missing since May 2nd. Actually, I'll be traveling up to Alberta on actually July 2nd, because I didn't want to travel up on mine and my twin's birthday. So I have to take a day that I don't get paid for, because I didn't want to travel on the 3rd, the way my holidays fell. I had to do it. You know how you try to get the most days as you can. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, so on, obviously the 14-month anniversary, I will be traveling, and I'll do some little videos, like I'll just take some little videos and post them into my shorts, on that particular day and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and we'll take a pen or two with me. What else? Well, we saw Wayne. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Wayne. I'm not going to get too much into this whole Brandon thing yet until I truly want to deep dive a bit more on it. Because I don't know nothing about Brandon. What we're hearing is a bunch of conflicted things. I don't know if it's a case of mistaken identification, because I'm not finding that very credible at this point in time, based on the fact of how he picked out people but got it wrong on the first time. So I'm not convinced on this at all. What I'm seeing is a bunch of mishmash of information that's not making sense to me, but I'll try to make sense of it with the information that comes out there. And to me, it's either you debunk it or include it, in a sense. What is the truth of this? Will we know the truth of this? Right? We've not heard about, there's things that bug me. And I'm sorry, guys, if I have to scroll down. Does anybody know Emily's real age? Someone said 14. No, she's not 14. She's definitely close to his, wait, that one account. Oh no, still kind of fake. No, I don't think no Emily's 14. I just know that on his Facebook, it said in a relationship since April 15th of 2025. I'm going to assume that that's Emily, because it was only less than a month later that the case happens. You know what? I don't know exactly, but I definitely would not say 14. But I don't know. I haven't, meaning there's that picture that Charmaine showed. And then somebody said it wasn't her. What's funny about it all is that I still haven't found an Emily attached to any of his Instagrams or Facebook. Usually when you are with someone, Facebook, love them, friend them. And how you doing? Yeah, if she was 14 years old last year, I find it hard to believe police wouldn't redact her information completely. Typically they would, right? Typically they would. I remember when they made that mistake in Delphi and accidentally put out all the names of the 12 or 10 years to 14-year-olds. Whoops. Fucker they forgot to redact all the young children's names from the Delphi case on the one documents. So then we all knew. Who is Emily? Emily is apparently Hayden's girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, it says it in the documents, girlfriend. Don't know the age. I just don't see it being 14. I mean, not to say it couldn't be. I just don't see it at this moment. I heard they split up and his Facebook profile shows a new girlfriend. Well, I'd have to know what the other Emily looked like, to be honest with you. I mean, very well could have. But I would honestly have to know what actually Emily looked like. No. I mean, that's the thing is, what part of the family member is willing to give up a picture of or that? You know? Maybe Cheryl Christine might have that privately. You know? I don't know. Someone just messaged Hayden himself. Hey, Hayden, want to clear this up for us all? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the truth is there, whether they are or they aren't. Okay. So again, we had the one about the drugs. Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl, Christine. And then we had the one about the piece of the blanket that was on the railing outside. So again, for anyone watching this was conversation that I personally had with Cheryl Christine back, I think in October is when this was. I just cropped out the face. It was in Messenger though. But I thought that those things were good to show because we've talked about I forgot about this conversation, to be honest. I remembered when Cheryl was talking about it on Hidden in the Fogs and stuff like that, but I couldn't remember. I totally forgot that we actually had a conversation about it. And like I said, I don't see her getting pissy about, shitting on Daniel or talking about the blanket that she talked about. Yeah, yeah. Again, whatever truth is with Brandon, whatever it's not, again, as information comes out, it will become clear, perhaps. I still think of all this stuff going on right now as gap filler stuff that, if you're bored and in the meantime and in between time and want to look to see if it's truthful or not truthful, I say still, the likelihood that well, Daleen, you're here. Let me ask you, Daleen, what would be the reason? Let's say, based on Brandon's information, which would allude to the fact that Malaya's side pretty much planned this all, unless you believe Alvin was part of it. What would be any reason for Malaya to have to do this at all? Like at all. There's no point. She doesn't need to hide the children. She doesn't need to have, she obviously has plenty of people if she wanted to give the children away. It would not make sense that this happened, that all of this happened. What I was going to ask, well, just that, like, if it was geared, which it seems like this is like the way that Brandon has told it, is that it's more, or others have, that it's geared towards Malaya, pretty much her family planting shit. Unless you believe that both families, which is still ridiculous to believe, that all these people knew about it and are all covering up for Daniel and Malaya. And why would Hayden and Emily, in the middle of searching when the RCMP and that are around at this point, because now we're at 10:45, 10:50. Why would they even risk doing that for Malaya or say? It's just, if someone takes Brandon for his words, what does that mean to the case, in a sense, for people's theories? Yeah, why would her family cover this up? Why? What reason at all would Malaya have to gain by pulling a hide and seek and doing this herself or something? There's nothing that would make sense. Destroy it. Now, do I think that what was going on in the house is pretty fucked up? Well, you know, that would make the most sense based on Brandon's statement. But then again, realistically, the more people know, the more they're going to talk. Like, not everyone's going to hold their tongue, but how would all these people all pass polygraph tests? Like, and I'm not including Daniel and Malaya, right? Like Haley, right? Like Wade, Cindy, Cody. So it's all that stuff that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to have this many people involved, especially when you got people like Wayne and Alvin basically saying what a piece of shit that their nephew is. Wayne says, you need to look at her. No. No. You need to look at the people that were on the property. And so anyway, so that was the best thing I took out of those Alvin and Wayne McKenzie videos was when, again, Daniel, did you know that your uncles thought about you like that? Because you were not this monster, you said. You were not this person. I mean, it's clear that Malaya told people that you were doing drugs that night, and yet you still don't admit to it. Just admit to it. You're busted for that, okay? And that's why there's things that you're not saying, because you're not saying the truth about that, is because of what happened that night with Jack and Lily. It's not just because you don't want to admit that you were doing drugs that night. It all plays a part, to me, in my opinion, to what happened to Jack and Lily. And you guys, meaning Daniel, Malaya, to me, are fucking liars. That's as simple as it is for me. And Janie, your cup runneth over of piss as well. 2 possible reasons. Guilt associated with children's passing away, intentional or accidental, or a desire to need to hide the kids because they're not safe. Yeah, but the second one is like, just no, okay? Like, the possibility is here versus mom and the people on the property here, right? There's no need to hide these kids because they're not safe. That did not happen. That is, like, you know what I mean? Is that's when you start crossing the line of into absurdity and far-fetched. Because these children could have easily have been handed over to family members if Malaya was having any issues. The fact that nobody's claimed a reward, nobody's spoken out. There is nobody that is hiding these kids to keep them safe from harm. And then the families are passing some tests and stuff like, no, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we had to choose between the two, obviously it's not the latter one of the two in my eyes. Hi, Alana. Have a good day. The Native children, so their lives weren't valued there, unfortunately. I don't understand why Brandon would lie about Alvin's. Well, I personally, I don't, myself, unless, like I said, I don't talk to him, so I don't know, but I'm going to go with my own feeling is that I'm not convinced that he saw who he thought he saw. I'm not convinced about that. So it's not about, to me, about a full out lie as much as if he saw, like, but then how do you get on a quad? How do you say you're on a quad at 10:27? Like, make that make sense. Okay, but still, I think that this is myself at this moment a case of mistaken identity of who's who. So that's how I see it. So it's not about necessarily that he's all and out lying, but there's definitely inconsistencies, and the way that he supposedly picked these people and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. So you basically have Brandon saying he saw them. You got Alvin saying, I didn't talk to anybody, right? But there's no consistency with the information out there at this point in time. And I still don't understand what would make Brandon come forward and talk about vital information to a case if it's that important and bring it out to the public, to us. If it's that important of information, then we don't need to know about 2 shirts that were hanging supposedly from a tree. That should be information that would be kept locked, sealed, and keyed, and to only the person that had something to do with it knew. So I don't get that. People do the damnedest things. But if you truly care, if I'll put it this way, I'm just a person that's a creator, and I'll take anyone that wants to speak on Jack and Lily. But if you truly have vital information, you would think that you would not bring it out to us, and that you would care more about Jack and Lily's case and the answers than to giving true crime vital information that could compromise the case, possibly. Because it can happen, right? That happens. Like, the police don't want anyone to know certain things. And so it becomes maybe more vital information that you don't want out there. Kind of like what they said to Daniel and Malay at the start. It's not like we're telling you not to talk. We're just saying to be mindful of what you're saying, because you don't want to ruin an investigation by putting out stuff, right? And if it's accurate. But at this point, does it matter? Does it honestly matter what comes out? Because nobody knows what the truth is, because it's muddled against all these lies and bullshit and people inserting themselves anyway, right? Anita comes out of the woodwork. All of a sudden, Brandon's coming out of the woodwork right now and stuff like that. You don't even know what to believe anymore. So just take it back to the basics. That's it. Take it back to the basics before all this stuff was said, right? Take back what you saw, what you heard at the beginning, and the actions. Use common sense about why this would happen, and then wait for answers. But this is just gap filling to me at this point in time, right? And it's kind of one of those things is like, okay, yeah, if I got time, I'll look into Brandon's information, and then if I come across something, I'll have my, say on it. But if I don't decide to either, I don't really care, because enough has been said and done in this case that now it's just a bunch of diluted diarrhea that you don't know who to believe. And when people put out inconsistencies, then why would we believe you? I'm not going to just believe everything I read and see. I like to look for it and see if it makes sense. Oh, hey, Miss Dog Lover. Love you, girl. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that was it. Absolutely. I mean, again, each to their own on what they think. No issues with that part. It's just in reality what is the most likely with what is the most unlikely of the scenarios. But bottom line is, we don't know. We can only assume and guess and speculate to what we think happened, and just continue to wait. Here, let me put Jack and Lily's faces. I got to head off here, guys. It's already 11:40, and some of you guys, it's like crazy time. I pray that was true. Let's be honest. They were failed a few years ago. They were. They were. That's fine, honestly. Brandon, I just care more about the case than talking. That's why he's gone. Well, I know, but I just don't understand why he bothered, why that statement came up in the first place. You know, like that just added a ton of fuel to the fire. And then it went against his other postings. So, in essence, he lit a fire under his ass in the true crime world. You know, yeah, and it's okay to be loyal. If you feel like someone's being honest and stuff like that. I don't like. I have my loyalty to Belinda. And I know that there's no stake in the game, and as well. But so I get it. Just like I guess, like with Haley too, right? Like some people, you know, might think that I'm always like on Haley's side. Well, because I am. I'm the one that spoke to her. I'm the one that has had multiple conversations with her. There's not one piece of me that for 1 second thinks that Haley had any involvement in the case of Jack and Lily disappearance. You know, like why would she even entertain talking to me at all? She wouldn't. So it wouldn't make sense that somebody that even played a piece in Jack and Lily missing would keep talking to me. She's not trying to, you know, gear things all towards Daniel's way or Malaya's way at all. She's just as confused of this as all of us. And she doesn't even know what to think anymore either. Right? She has her own thoughts like anyone. So how Daleen feels about Brandon, I can respect that because if she's spending the time talking to him, there's, you either gain this trust or you can see red flags as well in their stories. Daleen's not stupid, you know? She didn't graduate from the freaking chicken school there of Janie in the cage type of thing. She's a lawyer. She has those credentials for a reason. Even though Daleen, I'll never forget the wolf situation. Just saying. I'll never forget the pack of wolf thing, okay? That still scars me to this day about that one. Just like if someone talked to me about a bear. No way, no evidence is going to be left if animals had attacked the children. It would be blood, pieces of clothing everywhere if that happened. Like, you scarred me on that one, okay? But anyways, but the thing is, like I said, I have that for the case, Haley and Belinda, for me, are genuine, honest people that really care about wanting to find answers for Jack and Lily. But Haley, she just doesn't want to be part of, people bashing her all the time. She has a life to live. People need, right? And then you don't want to talk so much anymore. We might want them to talk, but I get it. And I'm not going to push her. I'm not going to sit there and try to connive or deceive her and stuff like that, right? I'm going to respect her boundaries, just like I would expect the same thing, But so, like I said, so Daleen has a relationship, not physical or anything I'm talking about, guys, a relationship with Brandon where she feels like that she trusts his information. Then she has that, right? Then she knows maybe what's up, even though she doesn't know Brandon's, inside and out. One gets a feel of if you're being bullshitted too. So I don't know enough about it. And even what I do know is still inconsistent, but I don't know enough about it to truly speak on it. But speaking on the case from my own perspective, it's highly unlikely that a lot of people are involved in this. I think that a few people have knowledge, but I don't think that both sides of the families all know about this. And this was all just one big cover up of Jack and Lily. Mm. Did you know Cody Moore's mom is a Maxwell? No, I don't even know who Cody Moore is. A relative of Anita Maxwell. Is it the Anita that's talking a lot? Johnson, Chicken School of Janie. Always bugger about those chickens. I don't even know who. Like, I remember seeing certain names, but that was near the start of the case. And some of these names are coming back to me, like coming back in hindsight. Because at one point you're just kind of stalking people's Facebooks and looking around. And then you're like, oh, why do I keep seeing this name? Right? Love you, Helicopter Grandma. Thank you for everything. Oh, that Cody. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know anything actually about that Cody. Or the Maxwells or who Anita Maxwell is. Cody's is Haley's ex. Are they exes? I don't know. Haley's boyfriend is Cody Moore. Yeah, I knew that there was 2 Codys, but it's one of those things for me. I'm not going to look into Cody Moore. Because I don't believe that this was a situation of a ton of people, right? Myself. Again, it really just becomes down to reality of it all. We're not going to know what happened to Jack and Lily until we get the answers from Major Crimes and RCMP. We're just not. There's no one that's going to solve this case. We might be able to put a couple things together along the way. And that's all this is to me. You're trying to understand the case, put things together. So it's just kind of like that's where I personally am at. I'm not into certain things that when I'm following a case, if I don't believe that there's anything to it, I don't bother to even dive into it, which I am with any case, right? If I just don't feel in my gut that it's worthy of me searching up information on something, I don't. Because I just like to stick to what the family members have said and what we're witnessing and what we're seeing going on in the dynamics. But what if Anita is Cody's aunt? Yeah, but what if Anita is Cody's aunt? Talking about Anita Bonina? But what if Anita is Cody's aunt? Anita's coming out basically shooting fire at everyone. Like rapid fire at everybody. She's shooting rapid fire at Malaya and Daniel and everybody else. Yeah. Okay, you guys, my ass is tired. I've been sitting in this chair all day pretty much. Got up a couple times, go to the bathroom. That's about it. This live it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. Not bad, but it's pretty late over there for you guys. But anyways, that being said, Daniel, again, you're not this upstanding citizen that your uncles are saying you are. I think you need to fess up to a few things there, Daniel. But anyways, before I go, I want to again thank Cheryl W for these beautiful stickers of Jack and Lily. These beautiful pens for Jack and Lily. Amazing. The one that says, "Bitch, you doing a good job." That one's for me. Bitch, you doing a good job. And then Jack and Lily's little pin. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Can't express my gratitude for your generosity of doing that. In saying that, inhale, exhale. Thank you for becoming a member today. Helicopter Grandma gifted a membership. For that one, Shannon gifted a $20 super sticker. JJ became a YouTube member Thank you. JJ did a 279 sticker for Jack and Lily. And Helicopter Grandma gave another, she likes to do that, another membership. And Helicopter Grandma gave another membership. So obviously, thank you guys for your love and support of this, of following the case, this channel, Jack and Lily and all that stuff. And thank you for all you do. Please, again, if you haven't hit that like and share button, please do. As for, we went over the poll, where are you at with Brandon's accounts of what's happened May 2nd? 18%, less and less believable. Sounds credible, 29%. Confused as fuck, 29%. And oh, the drama llama, poor Lily and Jack, 25%. Okay? So, I mean, at this point of the game, like I said, a lot of this information is just kind of coming out. And we'll see where people sit, in a week or two, with whatever information comes out. Good night, Dilleen. Good night, Art. I think most of these people, like extended family members, should be left alone. They should have an expectation of privacy, just like a witness should on there. That's Art. Dodie. Yes, great live tonight, Sunny. Great live tonight. Civil conversations, which I appreciate. And that, because we're all adults and we can do that. I think JM, DM, JM, MMB. Oh my goodness, Dodie. Earl and Darren. Is that who you believe all know? I'm trying to figure out the motive of Anita. Why is she here? I get it. I mean, I remember hearing her say that. What was it she exactly said? I remember. Hold on. Need a sip of juice. Powerade, $1. Has to be the zero sugar though. Diabetes shit, Anyways, I love orange is my fave. Hot cha, good for Sunny. What did Anita say specifically? Oh, I can't remember her word for word, but it was something about being just sick of the, like that. At that time, she wasn't ready to speak, but now she is, and I think it. Now, don't get me wrong, because I think everyone has their moments in this case when they're ready to step forward, and then when they're ready to step backward, and then more people are coming forward, and stuff like that. And it's kind of been like a bunch of steps of people, coming forward at this time, then at this time. Darren Geddes was obviously started a shit disturber in a sense and created Haley and Cheryl and all those people to speak out because of his accusations, right? So that created a lot of people to start talking, right? Haley and all that because of Darren. So you got to give Darren kudos a little bit for that, because it did get people talking. But I just feel like that Anita, like, maybe Brandon, whatever, people get tired and they get frustrated with cases. And whenever it takes a length of time for a case, we don't have that patience. We want answers, and we want answers yesterday. Right? So people go through different, to me, levels of, at first they're like this, and then they get pissed off. And then at some point, but it's truly a fact when people come out around the like 1 year mark or later mark, it's mostly because obviously they feel like that's the time to speak out, because they're tired of RCMP, MCU not solving this case. And they're like, fuck it. I'm just going to speak up now because I'm sick and tired. We're no closer to answers. So I'm going to come out. That's a main reason why a lot of people do come out later, is because of that, because they're frustrated with the lull of no answers to the case, if that makes sense. Love you. Chat again soon. Yes. Art. 100%. I think Anita gave us some good information, in my opinion. Not all of it is true, but some is. Yeah. I mean, to me, there is some credible information there, which looks very shady, from the Malaya camp, right? But I also think that it's, again, Daniel's own words. She's trying to blame everything on me so she doesn't get in trouble. Daniel would have fessed up by now if this was Malaya's plan to make those children disappear, and he's taking all this heat, and she said a bunch of things about him. Okay? Again, the cracks would be there. Daniel would not be licking it up the ass from Malaya's shit at this point in time and still trying to protect her. No. Not with all that's happened throughout this year, right? She's fucking other people. He's fucking other people, and stuff like that. And, the things that Daniel said about Malaya, right? Malaya hasn't said as much about Daniel, though, right? She went quiet, So does the truth lie in there somewhere? But why would Daniel, trust me, I will say this. Let's say Malaya did do something, and Daniel just has been covering up because he's so fucking pathetically in love with her, their child, and shit like that. Think about, just think about something, though. Think about when Daniel was gloating, pretty much, when he made sure that we knew that those charges weren't filed by said person, right? How much he seemed so happy to let us know that it was the prosecutors and not the person that filed those charges. You can almost feel his ass smiling as he was saying that. I don't buy for 1 second. If Daniel thinks that helicopters are over top of him out of service to save his ass, that just tells you how fucked up he is. Sorry, Daniel. Truth. So, how fucked up is he over Malaya? Right? Is Daniel protecting Malaya in all this? I don't know. What I do know is both of them, all of them, have knowledge of what happened to Jack and Lily. It's a matter of who knows what and where the truth is. It's always like I said, I'm never not looking at other things. But everything always takes me back to the property that makes sense. And it takes me back specifically to two people, because their actions and all this stuff isn't making sense. Malaya is trying to blame everything on me so she doesn't get in trouble. Decipher those words how you want. You can take that either way or whatever. Anyways, guys, biggest hugs. Probably won't. I'm not sure when I'll do my next live. Might be tomorrow. It depends. I don't know. Anyways, I don't think I can do one on Friday, though. I don't think on Friday. I got too much stuff going on Friday. My days off are the days off that, I think, what is it? We got to renew our driver's licenses. We got to get our tires changed or whatever, get on the vehicle, get new tires there. I got a dentist appointment that I work. Yeah, little chip came out of my front tooth. You can't, it's behind it, but yeah, that's not happening. I ain't having no weird, teeth until I can stop. But anyways, got a lot going on Friday, for sure. So I'll see you when I see you. And thank you guys for being here. And good morning to some of you and good night to others. It's 11:59. So, it's 12 o'clock. Good morning. How are you? Time to start a new live now. Right? Just for Ben when he comes in. No. Anyways, you guys, Jack and Lily. I'm just going to end the live. It's 12 o'clock. Jack and Lily, bless you guys, and have a good night, and we'll see you soon.